Imagine this. They rejected you, turned their back on you, and thought you'd crumble. But instead of falling apart, you chose a different path, the power of silence. And now they can't stop thinking about you. Why? Because silence, when wielded with purpose, can be one of the most powerful tools in Stoicism. It's a response that says, I respect myself enough to stay grounded and composed. Today we'll explore how embracing silence after rejection can make an unforgettable impact, not just on them, but on your own growth and inner peace. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the Mindful Stoicism and press the bell icon for more Stoic insights like this. 1. The power of silence as a Stoic response. Silence, particularly after rejection or loss, is a profound and intentional choice in Stoicism. In a world where people often rush to respond, defend, or explain themselves, choosing silence is a way to cultivate inner strength, discipline, and emotional independence. When someone rejects us, the natural human response might be to defend ourselves, argue, or seek closure. However, a Stoic response encourages us to go against that impulse. Instead of reacting, silence becomes a statement, a powerful declaration that says, I am not defined by this moment or by your perception of me. In Stoicism, silence isn't passive. It's an act of self-respect and personal power. Choosing silence means refusing to let others dictate your emotions or reactions. This is because silence places the focus inward, where real control lies. When you respond with silence, you are signaling that your peace is self-sustained and that your worth doesn't hinge on external validation. It's not a statement of indifference, but one of emotional clarity. Silence shows that although you may have experienced disappointment, your response is grounded, calm, and self-directed. Additionally, silence leaves an indelible impression on the other person. Reactions, especially emotional or defensive ones, often fade from memory, but silence lingers. When you choose not to respond, you create a void, an open question. This absence speaks louder than any words could. It forces the other person to fill in the blanks themselves, leading them to wonder, reflect, and possibly even regret. They may question why you didn't react, why you chose to step back instead of defend or pursue them, and what that says about your character. Moreover, silence rebalances the power dynamics. Rejection often leaves one person feeling that they have control, but silence disrupts that assumption. Suddenly, the person who expected an emotional response from you is left facing an unexpected void. They become the one unsettled, replaying the situation, wondering why you aren't engaging. Your silence shifts the dynamics, taking away their ability to influence your peace. Ultimately, embracing silence as a Stoic response is a form of self-mastery. It signifies that you're rooted enough in yourself to maintain calm, even when facing rejection. By staying silent, you're not ignoring the situation, you're addressing it by honoring yourself. Silence becomes a choice to channel your energy inward, protecting your peace and fortifying your inner resilience. This makes silence a powerful tool, not just for relationships, but for personal growth, allowing you to live on your terms rather than seeking fulfillment or justification from others. 2. Why silence is more memorable than words. Silence, when used intentionally, can be far more powerful and impactful than words. While words express thoughts and emotions, silence creates space for reflection and curiosity. When someone expects a response but is met with silence, it disrupts their expectations, making them wonder why you chose not to engage. In relationships or personal interactions, this unexpected quiet can be unforgettable, lingering longer than any spoken response could. Silence commands attention in a way that words often can't, giving it a mysterious, almost magnetic quality. One reason silence is so powerful is that it allows others to project their thoughts onto the situation. Unlike spoken words, which have clear meanings, silence leaves room for interpretation. The person who expected a reaction from you starts filling in the blanks, wondering what you might be thinking or feeling. This mental guessing game can be more intense and emotionally charged than any words you could have said. They might even start doubting their own actions, re-evaluating what they did to trigger such a non-response. This reflection creates an emotional impact that words simply cannot replicate. Silence also demonstrates self-restraint and confidence. In moments of rejection or disappointment, the natural reaction is often to explain, defend, or retaliate. But silence shows that you are secure enough in yourself to remain unaffected. It's a form of Stoic resilience, indicating that you value your inner peace over engaging in potentially negative exchanges. This control over your emotions, expressed through silence, subtly communicates strength and composure, traits that others find memorable and even intimidating. In addition, silence gives you control over the narrative. When you choose not to respond, you're denying the other person the closure they might seek. They might have expected you to show hurt or to try and win them back, but silence withholds that satisfaction. This can shift the power dynamic in subtle ways, making them realize they don't have as much influence over you as they thought. The impact of your silence echoes, causing them to think about you more than if you had given a quick response. Ultimately, silence, especially after rejection, serves as a reminder of your independence and self-worth. It forces others to confront their own feelings and actions without any influence from you, making them realize that your presence or your absence carries weight. This quiet response stays with them, lingering as a powerful memory, a testament to your strength and a reminder that sometimes the most powerful statement is made without a single word. 3. They'll see a new side of you. When someone rejects you, they often assume you'll react in predictable ways, either seeking closure, asking questions, or maybe even getting emotional. But instead, your choice to remain silent reveals a side of you they've likely never seen. This shift can be both powerful and deeply intriguing to them. Silence, especially in moments of rejection, speaks to a strength that goes beyond words. It shows a mastery over emotions, a calm acceptance, and a refusal to let someone else dictate your worth. Imagine the impact of this silence. They're expecting a reaction, and yet what they're met with is calmness and restraint. This response conveys a level of maturity and inner security that not everyone possesses. It challenges their perception of you. You're no longer the person who might cling, question, or let rejection shake you. Instead, you're someone who is centered, unshaken, and self-assured. By staying silent, you convey the message that their decision hasn't disrupted your peace, and this can spark curiosity, perhaps even admiration. This newfound image leaves them with questions. They may begin to wonder, did they misjudge you? Is there more to your character than they initially thought? Silence disrupts the narrative they may have constructed about you, forcing them to reassess their opinion and making them think deeply about who you truly are. This shift in their perception can be remarkably powerful because people are naturally drawn to mystery and strength, especially when those qualities appear unexpectedly. In the framework of Stoicism, this approach highlights a critical trait: self-discipline. By choosing silence, you show that your happiness and self-worth are not dependent on their opinions or actions. This inner strength isn't something everyone has, and by demonstrating it, you become someone they're unlikely to forget. Your silence becomes a statement of your self-respect, and self-respect is attractive in itself. As they see this side of you, they may even begin to feel a sense of loss, realizing they underestimated someone who possesses such a rare, unyielding strength. In this way, your silent response not only shields your peace, but also reshapes how they view you, often leaving them captivated by this new, unexpected side of you. 4. Shifting the power dynamics. In relationships and social dynamics, Rejection often leaves one person feeling disempowered, as if they've lost control over the situation. The one who rejects usually feels in command, assuming they hold all the cards. They expect a reaction, perhaps disappointment, anger, or attempts to reconcile from the person they've turned down. However, choosing silence disrupts this assumption entirely and shifts the balance of power. When you remain silent after rejection, you signal that you're not emotionally shaken or destabilized by their decision. This silence can be disarming, even unnerving, because it's the opposite of what most people expect. In this quiet space, the person who rejected you might start questioning their initial assumptions. Why aren't they reacting? Did I misjudge their feelings? These questions stir curiosity and uncertainty, emotions that can be both compelling and unsettling. Silence challenges their control and leaves them wondering if they had any hold over you at all. This silent response, which aligns with Stoic principles of restraint and self-control, introduces a powerful new element into the dynamic: unpredictability. The fact that you aren't responding as anticipated puts you in a position of strength. Now, rather than you seeking answers from them, they're left searching for meaning in your silence. This reversal often creates an urge in them to re-evaluate the situation. They may replay past interactions, looking for clues or reconsidering their actions. Your silence becomes an enigma that lingers in their mind, subtly drawing their attention back to you. In this way, silence becomes a subtle but potent form of influence. Rather than reacting impulsively and handing over your power, you keep it within, projecting an image of resilience and inner strength. This unyielding calm shifts their perspective of you, positioning you as someone who is unaffected and centered, regardless of external circumstances. It signals to them and reinforces within you that your self-worth isn't dependent on their validation. This realization, both for them and yourself, is transformative. It dismantles any power they assumed they had over you and re-establishes control within yourself. Ultimately, silence in the face of rejection is more than just a passive response. It's a deliberate choice that empowers you. It shows you're unafraid to detach from the need for validation and demonstrates that your peace of mind comes from within. In this subtle shift, the power dynamics move back in your favor, leaving them to reckon with the quiet strength that they cannot shake or control. 5. A lesson in self-respect. Self-respect is one of the fundamental pillars of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us to look within for our validation rather than depending on external opinions. When faced with rejection, we often feel the urge to respond, to seek answers, or to prove ourselves. Yet, choosing silence is a powerful act of self-respect. It's a statement that you value your peace and self-worth over someone else's validation. In Stoicism, self-respect starts with understanding that your worth is intrinsic. It doesn't fluctuate based on someone's acceptance or rejection of you. Choosing silence is your way of reaffirming that. Rather than lowering yourself to demand explanations or plead for understanding, you communicate a strong message. I respect myself enough not to compromise my dignity for anyone. This mindset shift can be incredibly freeing. You no longer feel the need to chase approval, nor do you tie your happiness to someone else's view of you. Silence after rejection isn't about harboring resentment or trying to manipulate the other person's feelings. Instead, it's about setting a healthy boundary that prioritizes your emotional well-being. By choosing silence, you are effectively saying, I am complete as I am. My peace and self-worth are not up for negotiation. This approach enables you to remain true to your values and not allow others' actions to disturb your inner calm. Through silence, you avoid the cycle of overthinking, replaying scenarios, or trying to figure out what went wrong. Instead, you protect your mental and emotional state by focusing on the present, by cultivating inner strength, and by using this experience to grow. This choice not only saves you from emotional turmoil, but also gradually builds resilience, shaping you into a person who is unshaken by external judgments. In time, this level of self-respect creates a profound shift in how others perceive you. They begin to understand that you are someone who does not seek approval. You stand confidently on your own. This kind of inner respect and self-assurance is magnetic. It commands a quiet authority that others cannot ignore. Ultimately, your silence after rejection becomes a declaration of self-respect. You're telling the world that while rejection may sting, it does not define you. By embracing silence, you prioritize your dignity, stay aligned with your values, and maintain the strength to walk away with your head held high. This is the essence of self-respect, the courage to choose yourself over anyone else's opinion of you. 6. Strengthen your inner world. Choosing silence after rejection is more than a response. It's an invitation to deepen your inner world. In Stoicism, we're taught that the external world, others' opinions, rejections, even affection, is beyond our control. What we can control, however, is our reaction and the inner fortitude we build from these experiences. Embracing silence helps you withdraw from distractions and refocus on what truly matters: self-respect, inner peace, and the clarity that comes from within. Silence is powerful because it creates space for self-reflection, which allows you to assess the experience without letting emotions take control. Instead of reacting impulsively or seeking validation, you can turn inward to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow? This reflection is crucial in Stoicism, where the aim is to sharpen our self-awareness and align our actions with our values. By staying silent, you give yourself the opportunity to understand your emotions, observe your thoughts, and manage any internal conflicts that arise. This process builds a mental resilience that makes you stronger, more grounded, and less reliant on the approval or disapproval of others. Furthermore, by not giving in to the impulse to explain yourself or justify your feelings to the person who rejected you, you reinforce your own self-worth. You're telling yourself that you don't need to chase closure or seek validation to feel at peace. This empowers you to find value within yourself without needing external affirmation. As this inner strength grows, you'll realize that your peace, your worth, and your happiness are all rooted within, not in what anyone else thinks or says about you. In the silence, you may also uncover passions, interests, and ambitions that had been overshadowed by the desire for others' acceptance. Rejection, while painful, can open doors for self-discovery if we allow it to. When you choose silence, you're giving yourself a chance to rediscover your purpose, to nurture qualities and skills that define who you are. This growth will inevitably show in your actions, making you more confident and secure. You'll be able to approach life's challenges with a calm, unshakable resolve, drawing strength from a foundation built entirely by you. In the end, strengthening your inner world means letting go of what you can't control and investing in what you can. The silence you choose today could be the foundation for a more resilient, peaceful, and fulfilled life, one that stands strong regardless of the storms that may come. If you found value in today's insights and want to master the art of silent strength, hit that subscribe button. Remember, sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Let it be your power. And don't forget to share this video with anyone who needs to rediscover their inner strength after a setback. Embrace the silence, live mindfully, and let your presence echo beyond words.